Yeah. Yeah, we're live, dude. Look, I know I should have music, okay, but I don't know how to make sure I'm following the copyright rules. So so I'm scared to play music to give a little 5-minute countdown, get in the chat or whatever. I don't know how to do it without risking somehow my channel being punished for doing something I'm not supposed to do. So I don't have any music. We're keeping it raw over here. We're keeping it real over here. Guys, we got 28 minutes left before market close. 28 minutes before or 20 minutes left to be able to buy GameStop to be able to get warrants on them. Yeah, Kim said they decided to suppress the price today, huh? Yeah, honestly, anytime this happens, like when the stock's going down when you expect it to be going up, to me that is exciting, not just because like buy the dip or whatever, but like it makes me that much more diamond hands, if that makes sense. Whereas if the stock today was up 10%, I'd be like nervous that they are planning to crash it on the other side of this record date and feeling a little bit like, should I take some gains to then roll in, like buy back in on the Monday dip? But when they dip it, when it should be ripping, I'm like, oh, sweet. I can just I don't have to sell any of this. I don't have to trim any of this. I did trim a couple calls to buy some shares within my Fidelity account because I want to see if Fidelity comes through on the warrants. So I did do that. What's up, Steve? What's up? Not gonna stop. That everyone trying to hurry up and sell before them warrants hit their account. Yeah, crazy, right? Like ridiculous to think that there would be any like genuine reason for GameStop to be down today. Obvious like opportunity, especially with Bitcoin ripping too. It's like, hello, we only hold $550 million worth of this. Like GameStop's already on pace to record like a $40 million profit in Q3 from their Bitcoin holdings alone. And that's assuming they haven't bought any more, which I think they probably haven't bought more, but maybe they have. What's up? How do you say that? Hadouken? What's up, Hadouken? Or let me know if there's a different way that if you like to pronounce that. Check. Oh, let me share my window so we can enjoy it together. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me get this out of my window. Enjoy the want spiral. Just like DFV did, I guess, right? Street Fighter, dude. I mean, I've played like once on like an old school arcade game, but no, I don't know that game that well, to be honest. Oh, oh, thanks though. You said you listen to my videos when I go running. I appreciate that. I wonder, are they gonna dip it all the way into close? Because if so, like that seems to me like it's gonna be an exciting Friday tomorrow, and then continue to roll forward the weeks where we're closing above max pain, right? Like it just makes me feel like the general run that we've been on can continue. If I was a short seller, I would have tried to run it today and let some of the steam out. Oh, John Long from Tampa Bay. What's up, John from Tampa? I was just in Tampa Bay in May. Went there with my family on a vacation. I don't know how you feel about Tampa Bay, John. You probably like it because you did all caps. We from Tampa Bay, Moaz inbound. But I feel like some people that are local like aren't really that proud of it. But I thought it was awesome. It was great vibes, great weather. We did a day in Clearwater, did a day down in St. Pete. It was a fun time. Super inexpensive place to have a little family vacation. I'm pumped to watch the stock with you guys. Is this the dip before the rip? Right? Right, Joe? That's what I'm saying. Look, they want to stress you out on the daily. And it's like, oh man, we're only up 4% in the past week. Oh, we're only up 16% in the past month. Oh, we're only up 25% in the past year. Oh, we're only up 1,000% max time. Like, this ain't a dip. You know what I'm talking about? This ain't a dip. It's exciting times. So, anyways, on the red days, I like to zoom out, keep perspective. A dip for ants. A dip for ants. What I'm also excited to do on the live stream today is I want to go through. I'm going to wait till probably after market close. Probably, maybe we'll start getting into it. But I want to go through this this hit piece that came out on September 26th. I want to go through this with you guys. I didn't want to do it in a separate video because I feel like dedicating a whole video to one article, and especially like I did a lot of kind of research sussing out this author. I felt like I didn't want to get too aggressive with it, but like within the context of a live stream, I thought could be a cool thought exercise to kind of go through this together, read between the lines, see what he's saying, and then I can kind of show you my simple process of how do you discern, like, is this a genuine perspective, or is this basically a hit piece? Like, like did this guy wake up and think these thoughts about GameStop, or did someone tell this guy, hey, we need a bearish article about GameStop, here's the main talking points, and then a guy who's a talented author decided to author this article? I'm excited to go through this together because woo, even just this opening little deal, meme fueled rally, euphoric one day, punishing the next, cash rich zombie, a Bitcoin pivot, business eroding, execution uneven and opaque, exciting on social media. Like, it's just like boom, zingers all over the place. I'm like, okay, am I reading Game of Thrones, or am I reading an article about GameStop, the company? You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to go through his case with you guys in this live stream and kind of show you some stuff that I learned there. What's up, Pam? Pam says, will the pricing on the warrants simply mirror what a 32 strike call would be? 32 strike for October of next year. That's what it should, right? I mean, that's the equivalent value. There's some people that think it won't show that extrinsic value, that it won't. Some people think it's going to be way more than even extrinsic plus intrinsic value. Like some people think it's going to be worthless until GameStop is trading above 32, and then it's just going to show you the intrinsic value. Some people think it's going to be in the middle case where it's going to be valued just like the adjacent derivative contract would be valued. A Frontier, what's up, dude? He says, look at that dippity dip. I know, guys. I'm just saying, if you want to buy in lots of 10 right now, but if you've got $270 lying around, you know, it's $10 off. $10 off warrants going on right now. $10 off your warrants. It cost you $280 this morning. It costs you $270 right now. Hadouken says AMC is up, bro. I ain't covering AMC right now, though. Maybe one day. Some people in the chats, they want me to go in on it. If I become interested in a company, I will talk about it. But right now, we're covering the company I want to cover, which is GameStop. Pam, to finish that question, there's a third chunk of people. He says, "I'm with you." Thanks, dude. What's up? A third chunk of people think the warrants themselves are going to squeeze, like that maybe the squeeze happens simultaneously with GME, or maybe it's some of the squeeze gets pivoted over to warrants, that somehow warrants expose short sellers more effectively than the ticker does if warrants are not able to be rehypothecated, right? I'm just super pumped. Like, I don't know how the SEC is going to play this. I don't know how short sellers are going to play this. I don't know how institutions are going to play this. Are they even going to give you a warrant? Like, they would have to give you a warrant that they can't fulfill Like for the warrants to squeeze under normal circumstances, that would mean that institutions are also playing it like the way that I guess their clients would want them to, like the way that retail investors, people that hold GameStop would want them to. But they could just play it to where they just give you cash value, right? They're authorized. If anytime a company gives a dividend that is not a cash dividend, the brokerage is allowed to just give you the cash equivalent. So I think that's most likely is that middle case where the cash value does have value. It's valued similarly to an option contract. And anyone that can't fulfill the warrant delivery is just going to give you the cash value. But I would love to see a squeeze on the warrants. Like I'm gonna have some warrants. Hadouken's got 1,500 warrants coming. Let's go, dude. Y'all can do the math on that, right? Means he's got 15,000 shares of GME. What's up, dude? What's up, dude? Mr. Darkness is looking forward to a squeeze on the warrants or a squeeze on GME or both. And I am too, man. What's up? There's already 41 of you guys in here. Thanks so much. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it a bunch, guys. Thanks for the subscribers, the members, all of that. Any supers jump to the front for sure. But we're just here to kind of enjoy it together. A front fro niner. A for niner. Is that how you say it? Do you have any insight on what the latest OCC memo means when they reference 1 GME1 and 2 GME1? Afro niner. That makes sense. Like an afro. Makes sense. Makes sense. No, you got like a link for that? What's this memo? I don't know. Let me know if you got a link to it. I try not to be the guy with the first opinion on stuff. I like to chew on things and then think about it. Like yesterday in a video, someone asked me about my opinion on Game Pass, the Xbox Game Pass going up. And I was like, no, I haven't looked into it yet. Like I kind of like to let the dust settle, see what happens. Whoa, Not Gonna Stop says it's not letting him buy GameStop right now. Whoa, what brokerage? William said he thought the dip would be coming aftermarket. I'm assuming you're talking about the dip. I thought that too. Oh, Moth coming in here with 4,700 shares. What's up, dude? Williams, sold a couple covered calls. Charles Schwab is not letting Not Gonna Stop buy GME right now. That's crazy. Afro Niner is going to find the link for the OCC memo. That's crazy. I bought yeah, it's a good question. Was it halted? It doesn't look like it was halted because the ticker's still moving. I just bought some shares on Fidelity, like I said. Sold some calls, rolled them into some shares. And I was up like 80% on the calls, so might as well trim that. Because y'all know my history with calls is not the best anyways, so we'll take some wins. Oh, there you go. His buy order just went through. Oh, there's the memo number. We'll see if we can learn about that together. Oh, here you go. Here's the Superstock post about it. They're going to give me the link? No link? Seriously, why is Reddit the only one that can tell us this? Link on the OCC website turns into a document download. So I guess it's just this document, huh? Which look how tiny that looks. Is there a way I can blow that up? Oh yeah, there is. All right, that's the biggest it'll let me get, I guess. That's what she said. Nice, Afro. Nice. Got me, dude. Okay, so OCC. GameStop has declared a warrants distribution to GME as described below. Each warrant will provide the right to purchase one GameStop share at 32 per share. Yep. For every 10 shares that you own, you get one warrant. There's the record date, expiration, unless extended. That's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. Computer share is the agent for it. That's awesome. And then, then you have these new symbols. So GameStop warrants are anticipated to begin trading on a date to be determined. But we know they're supposed to be distributed on the 7th, right? Wow, look at these symbols. So this is like current option symbols. GME, 1 GME, and 2 GME. And now they have new symbols. I don't think that means anything in particular. But it is interesting because GMEWS, like the warrants are going to have their own symbol, GMEWS. So it is a little bit interesting that it's like, why are there these two other symbols for GME? But has someone already added their own opinion to that? You know? Right? This guy likes the unless extended. I like that too. It basically guarantees, like, that phrase, I think is the most important phrase in here, that unless extended piece. Because it basically means that GameStop is going to let these warrants convert. Like, they will raise that 1.9 billion, even if it requires them somehow like extending the time horizon, which is awesome. But I don't think they're going to need to extend it. Flex options. Flex or non-standards. Okay. Yeah, seems like not that interesting. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Where are we at? Oh, back over 27. Oh, back under 27. A little bit of volume for the day. What's up, Mountaineer in Florida? Oh, look at that volume. Boom. Oh, volume's pouring in right at the close, guys. That volume came in just the past like 20 minutes. Crazy. Yeah, they're going to extend these. I mean, I don't think they're going to have to extend the warrants, but if they have to, it seems like they will. Yeah, 3 million volume in a matter of minutes. That's what I'm talking about, Afro. That's what I'm talking about. 10 minutes till close. Man, this is going to be so exciting, guys, to see what happens with Max Payne at the end of this week. There's a big drop off, by the way. I wonder what's happening with IV right now. Okay, so this has been coming down. This was at like 22, 23% range, more like 55-ish midday. So they're kind of trying to bring IV down, but the Max Payne this week is 25.5 again. And then next, what's up, Andrew? Checking in from Great Britain, from the Crown, dude. What's up? What's up, Andrew? Check this out. Max Payne next week could be as low as 24 or 25. What do these guys say it is? Max Payne on not November 21st. Show me on the 10th. Okay, so they say 25 on the 10th, 25.5 on the 3rd. That's actually great. Like, that's what it should be. Right now, the option value for this warrant is about $5 per share, or basically, $500 for the call option to buy 100 shares. So divide that by 100, $5 a share. These warrants should be worth about $5, but that you only get one warrant for every 10 shares. So every share of GME should have about a 50% premium to it compared to what they will trade after the record date. So you should see about a 50 cents drop off, which is exactly what you see on Max Payne. You should hypothetically either tomorrow or Monday trim 50 cents off of GameStop's trading price and be like, okay, there's the value of the warrants that currently is being priced in, and then it's going to get removed. What I'm curious about is, if we close over 27, that's the 25s, the 24s, the 26s, the 27s, all landing in the money. Even if you try to back that 50 cents out of the share price, I'm like, there's so many call options that just landed in the money that I don't know if you're going to be able to slow down that momentum just because we're on the other side of the record date. Look at it trying to come back. Finish strong. Andrew, yeah, GameStop can give warrants as much as they want to. Volumes, another about 500K in volume. Let's go, GME. Let's go. Yeah, totally, Afro. Yeah, so you want to think about what's the value of the warrant in the share price right now, which right now it should be about 50 cents. Pam says, one thing I've noticed about GME, you can always count on a red day when good news is incoming. It actually solidifies my resolve, knowing they are trying to scare people away. Hey, kudos, Pam. Yeah, that's true, William. So William said they're authorized to sell a certain number of shares. They authorize about 1 billion, and they have already basically issued just reload it, in 50 million shares. With the convertibles, they've already issued about 591, assuming those convert. And then there's another 59 million warrants going out. So this gets up to 650 million, almost on the dot. So there's technically another 350 million shares that they are authorized to sell, but they can update their, what they're approved for. It's not like they fundamentally can only have 1 billion shares in the float. They can update that policy whenever they want to. So if they start getting close to that $1 billion share count door, I'm sure they will update that. Ramsey says, why is the price going down? What did I miss? Ramsey, you gotta get in here, bro. Check out the chat. Everyone knows that everyone wants to sell now so that they don't get any warrants. I'm kidding. I don't know, man, but it's a great opportunity. Isn't tomorrow end of day when warrants get registered? Yeah. So you need to be a registered shareholder tomorrow. Yeah, maybe it went down because I went live. It could be the DFV effect, right? His last live stream, it was just crashing the whole time, and he was like just lollygagging, right? Just laughing it off. You got to. What's up, 62, you guys? Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it a lot. Seriously, really. What, Ramses, are you saying that you own 6 figures of shares? Or are you saying you own a 6-figure dollar value? Because that's different, dude. If you own 100,000 shares, dude, are you kidding me? Like, you can't just come in here with 100,000 shares, flex on all of us like that, dude. Pounds. Okay. 100,000 plus pounds value of GME shares, not 100,000 shares. Respect. I mean, that's still a crap ton of money, dude. Congrats to you. And we're just on the beginning cusp of what GameStop can accomplish as a company. So way to go. Can't DRS from the UK though, huh? That's a bummer. You know, if we start getting into the hundreds per share, you might want to move to the US temporarily, get those DRS before the MOAs, and then yeah, just vacation in the UK for 9 months a year. You just got to get that US address, right? Or do you need you don't need like citizenship, do you? It's just the address. I don't know. Not going to stop has 1280 shares. Way to go. Yeah, not bad at all, dude. Not bad at all. So exciting. 3 minutes till close. And then we can dive into this this article and hang out. Maybe see some fun after hours movement too. Who knows? Look at that. Another million in volume. Just in the past, what was that, 5 minutes? That's awesome. It's pretty exciting stuff. Guys, we're getting some warrants. We're about to get some warrants up in here. Oh, so what I was saying, yeah, tomorrow's the date that you need to be a record holder, but we live in a T+1 society, meaning your purchases and sales are settled on the next day after they occurred. So if you bought shares tomorrow, they would not settle until Monday or after hours tomorrow, right? But really not until Monday. T+1, one more business day. So if you want to be a record, shareholder on record for GameStop for the warrants tomorrow, you need to buy the shares today so that they're there tomorrow. If you buy them after hour, like if you bought one at 3:05 p.m., I don't know. It probably depends institution to institution whether they would settle that tomorrow or wait till Monday to technically settle it. But you got 1 minute left. 1 minute left. If you need any more shares, you got 1 minute left to make sure that you are entitled to those warrants. Antonio, 1,100 shares, almost 1,200 shares reporting for duty. Andrew with 1,500 shares. Soul Catcher, 9,000 shares. You crazy son of a gun. Samuel with 4,400 shares. Look at you guys. Look at you guys putting in the work. 10-1. 10-1 warrants coming. And yeah, we'll be able to buy the warrants. It's a great point, Andrew. Like if you're super bullish on the warrants, or if you're super bullish on GameStop, and maybe you want, oh, boom. Did y'all see that after hours? What? That just shot up to 2804 and then came crashing back down in the exact second. We just saw that together. That was crazy. What was I saying? Warrants. So you can buy them, and maybe somehow it's more beneficial to GameStop if you buy them and then direct register them, right? Get them out of Seed & Co. Like retail can buy up the warrant float, and these can be GameStop authorized, GameStop issued call options. Yeah, Robinhood does always do that, Tim. You're right. But it's weird. It's weird, though. Doesn't seem normal. And it's weird to see it while we're literally live streaming. It's just kind of crazy. Got me all pumped up for a second. So there you go. Locked in. Congrats on the warrants that are coming. But yeah, you can buy the warrants and then literally direct register them if you want to. And why would you do that? Obviously, if you thought the warrants themselves were going to have a squeeze, then you could make that a part of your more high risk portion of your portfolio. Like, let's just shoot our shot on the warrants. But also maybe you're a little bit hyper bullish on GameStop and you want to own a higher exposure to GameStop. Like if you're the type of person that would want to buy call options, like you would want calls to be a part of your portfolio, you might say, hey, instead of buying calls, I'm going to buy warrants, and I'm going to have as many warrants as I would have calls. And in some way, maybe that helps GameStop a little bit more since they're issued by them, especially if you direct register them. Like you can't transfer calls to computer share, but you can transfer warrants. And generally speaking, the more that GameStop's price goes up, and especially the faster that it goes up, the value of those warrants proportionally should go up faster. The warrant, if GameStop is, right now it's at 27, and the warrant goes, like if GameStop goes to 54, GameStop will have gone up 100%, but the value of your warrant would have gone up many times that from an IV perspective, but also just an intrinsic value. So extrinsic value, we think they might have about $5 of value per warrant right now. That extrinsic value is going to go up fast if GameStop goes up that fast. But then the intrinsic value becomes 54 minus 32, right? How in the money is your warrant already? If you were to exercise it right now, what is your gain, right? And so what is that? $22 per warrant. So plus the IV. So if GameStop goes up by 100%, you 1x your GameStop, or I guess you could say 2x, like you double, right, your value. Your warrant value will have just gone up 5x. So yeah, if you want to buy some warrants, you want some higher risk exposure to GameStop that's maybe not quite as high risk as a call option, just because you're able to register them. Maybe because they're issued by GameStop, somehow it's a little bit more likely that they are traded in a way that, but you can just kind of compare them. Like, how are they priced, the calls versus the warrants? But that certainly could be a part of your strategy. Could be. Not Gonna Stop says, press the button, Cohen. Chris's Concert Corner says GameStop will dip into the $25 range tomorrow. That would be a bigger dip than expected based on the warrant value. So if GameStop closes right now if they close at 26.75 tomorrow, that would be like what you would expect. That would be 50 cents off per share, which is the approximate value of the warrant right now. Now, Max Payne would say maybe it'll go closer down to the 25.5 range, but I'm not the near term specialist. I like talking about how much is this company actually worth, right? Kip Wolf says, to get my charts on TradingView or something else. Hey, don't worry, dude. I'm not giving Robinhood any money. I'm costing them money. Their servers are having to support my use, even though I don't have a single dollar with them. It's a free service. I don't mind it. I like looking at their charts. Oh, Afro, dude. Thanks for following along the combined retail value video. It's coming. I want to make a video about power packs first, because there's a few tailwinds with the collectibles business that we really have to talk about before we can talk about what's the worst and medium case and best case scenario with their collectibles business. And so I'm building out that framework first, talking about some tailwinds within collectibles. So I talked about Lego yesterday. I want to talk about power packs. I want to talk about even Fanatics and their partnership there, and get an idea for what is this business, basically. Oh, what's up? What's up, George? We got one of the friends of the channel joining me on the sheet. What is up? I love it. Because this business historically, like what has the collectibles business been historically, is not what the collectibles business is moving forward. Like literally, the Lego partnership has not hit. None of these numbers in the past reflect Lego. None of these numbers in the past reflect power packs. None of these numbers in the past really reflect anything meaningful as far as sports memorabilia or fanatics. And so we have to get an idea for what those numbers mean and then piece that together with the growth you're seeing just within their legacy collectibles business. You take all those kind of best, worst case scenarios, put them all together, and then you'll have a better picture for the collectibles business as a whole. What's the kind of worst, mid, best case scenario? And then we're talking, how do you value the asset management business, which the collectibles business is a business that puts hardware and software to shame in terms of valuation. The asset management business is a business that puts the collectibles business to shame. And so all that to say, the fundamentally supported valuation of GameStop, in my opinion, right now is many times what it's trading at right now. So take that for what it's worth. Not financial advice. I am a financial advisor, but this is not financial advice. It's not the place. What's up, Afro? Did you, are you calling me a shill? Oh, you're calling Ramses. Because he said, I think unpopular opinion, we need to wait until GTA 6 with the new console cycle. Oh, Chris. Oh, yeah, he thinks Chris saying GME is going to be 25 tomorrow. He's calling that shillish. I don't think, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but it's not what I'm rooting for. But if it was, it's a great opportunity because, again, regardless of what it's trading at today or tomorrow, to me, like, the truth is in like what they're actually doing as a business, right? The truth is in the numbers. The truth is in the 10Ks and 10Qs, and whatever they want to do out there in the world, out there in Wall Street to suppress a stock price, it can only last as long as it makes sense somehow, some way within some narrative in the fundamentals. And the odds that GameStop's cash is stalled out and does not continue to grow is super low, right? And the odds that their retail business continues to get no respect, no valuation, no multiple at all, super low. And so the floor price of GameStop is meaningfully higher than 27 and even more so than 25, right? Every dollar goes down, it's just that much easier. Y'all check out this article with me because I think, well, I just want to kind of walk you through. I'll try to stay attuned to the chat too. I can kind of see it on the right side of my screen. So I might miss some stuff though. Of course, if you send a super, I will see that because it makes bigger colors and make sure that I see it. But check out this article with me, guys. And this exercise, I'm not really trying to put this guy, Nick, on blast, but I just want you guys to think with me as you're thinking about a company and you're thinking about the coverage of a company. Like, is this fair or is this a hit piece, right? And if it is a hit piece, then what does that say about how big money out there might be interested in keeping this stock low, right? A hit piece, if you're bullish on a company, to see articles out there that are like, borderline lies, like obviously very skewed, very bearish, and seemingly like aggressively so, especially without particular expertise on what they're talking about, it's almost kind of a bullish sign of like, oh, sweet, the shorts are still short, right? If it's a hit piece, it wouldn't make sense for that to exist if institutions are net long. But if it's this guy's genuine opinion, then okay, maybe. But let's just kind of see together, right? What do y'all think? So GameStop remaining wildly volatile, euphoric one day, punishing the next. Again, he wrote this a week ago, September 26, 2025. Already it's like, okay, well, is it true or is it not true? And I'm like, is this wildly volatile? I don't know. It's been basically trading sideways for 3 years. So is that wildly volatile? There's some volatility, no doubt. Bulls whisper of another meme-fueled rally. So again, if you're just assessing the truth of what he's talking about, this came out on September 26th. He's basically saying that this rally in this 3 weeks is fueled by memes. To me, I think that's disingenuous because Roaring Kitty never posted a meme in this window, right? Ryan Cohen didn't post a meme in this window. Like, this rally is in response to their Q2 numbers absolutely crushing, right? And just recovery from price suppression that shouldn't really have happened in the first place. But if it did happen, it was related to the convertibles, right? Either it's convertibles related or it's some type of stock manipulation, short seller related. Either way, this 22 price wasn't that's the fair value for the business. And then someone posted memes and now it's all the way up here at 27. Like, literally there was no meme, So again, to me, that comes across as a hit piece. That comes across as, hey, keyword to put in this article. Make sure you say meme, right? Make sure you discredit the legitimacy of this company and its investors by associating it with memes, even though literally there's no meme, right? There wasn't any meme here. There wasn't any meme. There actually were a couple memes back here in 24. I think Roaring Kitty posted 1 or 2, if you wanted to make that argument. But again, that to me is not a genuine held opinion, because it would not take but 1 minute to look up those Twitter profiles, those X profiles, and see if there were any memes fueling this rally, and literally there aren't. So to me, Nick, this sounds like someone told you to say that, not that you researched and found this. Bears anticipate a familiar fade, and he leans bearish. The core retail business continues to erode. Okay, so let's see. Is the core business continuing to erode? Operating income of 66 million. Let's just talk about year over year. Let's see. A 265% increase in operating income. SG&A cut another 20%. Change in sales per store up 110%. Right? That is not eroding core. Okay. So this is it's just not true so far. Right. And then a Bitcoin pivot. Okay. Did they pivot to Bitcoin? Did GameStop pivot to Bitcoin? No. MicroStrategy pivoted to Bitcoin. MicroStrategy has no business, and then they turned their business into a Bitcoin ETF. GameStop is not pivoting into Bitcoin. They just bought some Bitcoin. And then they call them a cash-rich zombie. They are cash-rich, but they are not a zombie. Execution, uneven and opaque. Okay, uneven execution. What's up to Swag? Thanks, dude. How about change in net income each year? 2022, improvement of $68 million. 2023, improvement of $320 million. 2024, improvement of $125 million. 2025 is on pace to be an improvement of another $400 million. How's that for execution? Right? Uneven? Yeah, some years they make an extra 50 or 75 million, but some years they make 300 million. Man, that is tough. That is so uneven, right? It's a story that excites on social media. Does it excite on social media? Nick, have you gone to GameStop's social media? Okay, literally every single thing that GameStop posts, immediately there are trolls in the comments. Okay, let's check it out. This is an awesome thing. Xbox raised their price to 30 at GameStop saying we're going to keep it at 20. This should be nothing but good vibes, right? Let's see. Okay, so Power Rangers happy about pro member save. Okay, there's some happiness here. Stackable. This guy's rooting for GameStop. Not all heroes wear capes. Okay. Hey, this is kind of nice. But to say that in general, that they are like, this is another post from yesterday. Boom. First comment. I'd rather pay $30 for Game Pass than take a 60% loss on a trade-in of a physical copy of an $80 game. So right away, people are like, yeah, I'm going to short you anyways. Like, again, are they a social media darling? No, their social media team does an awesome job, but it's not like GameStop has so much social media excitement, And then they say they fall flat in the filings, basically just implying that their business isn't doing anything good, when the filings are literally the exact reason why this appreciation happened over the past month. And then, so let's see what he keeps saying. So already there's like 15 things he's saying that are not true, right? What's up, Bentley, getting those extra warrants? First things first, the retail core still erodes beneath the hype. Okay, I don't agree, but let's see why he says this, right? This whole subject is titled, The Core Business Keeps Struggling. Net sales totaled just $972 million. Okay, so is that erosion or is that a $180 million improvement, right? Almost a 20% improvement year over year, right? So you can say it's just $100 million. Yeah, I'll take $100 million. Geez. And they say, well, hardware and accessories increased and collectibles increased, which if you add these together, this is 85% of the business, right? But he said, but higher margin software declined to 150 million. Okay, so higher margin software did decline, but software is not higher margin than collectibles. It's just generally a higher margin business. Okay, but software is higher margin than hardware, and software did decline. So if you want to say the software business is continuing to erode, that is true so far. So maybe you just didn't really think about that, Nick. I don't know. Therefore, so he's saying because software declined, therefore the already low gross margin compressed further to 29.1 to 31% a year ago. This, again, is so disingenuous, Nick, because the higher margin software decline, software Q2 to Q2 has nothing to do with this margin decline. It has everything to do with a brand new Switch 2 came out in Q2 of 2025. So if you want to talk about margins and is GameStop heading in the right direction or not, you should look at the previous console cycle, because no one in the universe argues that margins on brand new consoles are as high as margins on used video games or used consoles. So a higher portion of their sales were coming from used consoles and used games, whereas a higher portion of their sales here were coming on new consoles. So of course that brings down margins, But if you want to talk about relative to their historical performance, you don't compare new consoles to used consoles. You compare new consoles to new consoles. And let's see last console cycle where GameStop's gross margin was at. Let's see. Oh, how about 22%? How about a 22% gross margin? So the 22.4 to the 29.12, that's almost a 30% improvement on gross margins. This guy's saying they're compressing further when actually they are 30% better than they were during the previous console cycle. And then listen to this, just bullcrap. Once again, diminishing the company's chances of having a real profitable business over the long term. Oh, I'm sorry. This whole time I've been doing fake business. But maybe one day I can do real business. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick. I'm excited to look at your businesses, by the way. I'm excited to look at your businesses and see if you have real businesses or fake businesses. But let's keep it to your writing for now. Okay, GameStop is a real business and they are really profitable. Okay, I don't know what you mean by this, Nick, but I guess you're just saying without software, they have a lesser chance of being a real business long term. Maybe they are real and profitable now, but with software declining, they're doomed. Well, are they really? Are they really? Because they literally made more in net income than their entire revenue from their software business. Okay, Nick? Their entire software, if you think it's going to vanish overnight, they lose all of that revenue. Guess what? They are still a profitable business. So I don't see your bearishness as legitimate. Again, I see this as you being told to write this article, but let me know, Nick, if you feel differently. In the meantime, management again skipped a conference call. Okay. Did they skip a conference call? No, they didn't have a conference call. Skipping makes it sound like you scheduled a call and then you didn't show up, which would be lame. To not hold a conference call is a choice you can make as a business. Leaving us to speculate about the strategy from here, you do not have to speculate about the strategy. They tell you in the 10Qs, there's literally a portion called business strategy. Okay. What's up, Short Fridays? Hey, thanks for the super, bro. Thanks for the super. They can issue more warrants. They do not have to wait until these warrants expire to issue more warrants. They absolutely can. In fact, the convertibles, like they gave the convertible holders rights to those warrants. They don't even have to do that. But if they didn't do that, the convertible holders would have been allowed to convert early. Like if you give shareholders a benefit that you don't give the convertible holders, there's a term in their agreement where basically they can ask for their money back. They can be done. And so anyways, so GameStop chose to give the warrants to the convertible holders as well to keep that convertible debt on their books so they can keep using that money. But yeah, if they want to raise more money through warrants in future quarters, they totally can. Thank you so much for the super. Check this out. So we don't have to speculate. There's a portion called business strategy in their 10Q. You might want to look at it, Nick. The filings show cost cuts. That's true. Nick, you might want to tell the readers just how much GameStop has been able to cut costs. Okay. You might want to tell them that SG&A used to be 1.9 billion and it's on pace to be 0.9 billion just a few years later. You might want to tell them, but whatever. They also indicate that GameStop's footprint is being scaled back. That's literally synonymous. Okay. So the filings show that GameStop is cutting, which is good. But the concerning thing is it also shows that GameStop is cutting. Like, why are you spinning something as bearish that you literally just shared in a bullish sentiment? Whatever. So yeah, they sold Canada, they sold France. The structural current still runs against specialty retail. That's fair. I wish you would talk more about that. Like, hey, specialty retail as a sector is not an attractive sector in general. And that is a headwind against GameStop. That's fair. I don't know why you called it a structural current. It's a little bit too much, a little bit too much language arts, not quite enough finance. But still a fair point. As digital downloads, oh, here we go. Subscription ecosystems continue to siphon transactions away from store. Like, I just feel like you wrote a pretty sounding article to just raise as much FUD as possible. This doesn't feel genuine to me at all. Subscription ecosystems are siphoning transactions away from stores. Okay, literally, GameStop has been saying that for years. And so, again, a narrative to say digital downloads is commanding a higher portion of the software business. Like, this whole point that he makes is the same point that he shared up here about the software decline. So he's communicating it with all these fancy words to make it sound like, and here's one more thing. It's like, no, that's the same thing. You already said that. Okay. The software business is in a tough spot. GameStop has a chance to turn it around, but even if they don't, they're fine. But he's saying, hey, margins are likely to stay under pressure unless they can revert that. Like, unless they can get more people to buy software, margins are likely to stay under pressure. Here's the thing, dude. Margins are 30% better than they were last console cycle. So they're not under pressure. But the truth is, GameStop doesn't need to get the software business back heading towards a positive direction. They just need to continue to scale their collectibles business. And that's what they're doing. That's what they are doing. The collectibles is even higher margin than software, right? So you don't, again, to make readers feel like, oh no, if GameStop can't get people to buy physical video games, they're really going to be in a tight spot. It's like, well, financially, that's not true. But also strategically, that's not true. That's not what they're focusing on at all. I'm sure they would like that to happen, but their focus as a retailer is on cutting costs, getting more efficient, and selling more collectibles. Hardware spikes may boost the top line, but they weigh heavily on the P&L. That phrase, weigh heavily on the P&L, makes it sound like GameStop is literally selling consoles at a loss, and that's not true. They don't weigh heavily on P&L. They help the P&L. GameStop makes more profit when they sell more hardware. Okay, operating profit, $66 million. Okay, operating profit back here, negative 22. So, yeah, it does not weigh on the P&L, Nick. It doesn't. I don't know where you saw that. This quarter leaned on consoles and collectibles. That's a fair point. Strong for revenue optics, but weak for profitability. Again, why don't you put some numbers to what you're saying, Nick? Like, it's just frustrating. Is this weak? Is this a weak quarter for profitability? It's their best quarter for profitability in a Q2 we've seen maybe ever, right? Definitely in the past 6 years. So, like, what are you even talking about? Like, oh, I didn't say they were struggling with profitability. I just said that the consoles are weak for profit. It's like you're hiding behind nuanced language instead of actually saying something that's true or false, and it's lame. To me, again, more likely that this is literally just a hit piece. And then he makes the same point again for the third time with software sales still in decline. Like, thank you, Nick. Thank you. As store, oh, and here's another. As store consolidation continues, I don't know. Has he said this already? Oh, footprint brings scale back. You couldn't wait 5 sentences before you make the same point again. Like, geez. Sustaining durable, high margin profits from the legacy model looks increasingly complex. Okay. Nick, Which is more complex? Having 5,000 stores or having 1,000 stores? Which is more complex? Like, it's not. They are literally simplifying their business, selling fewer items at higher margins to increase profits. So I don't understand why you would say, if you genuinely think this, that that simplification and that focus on high margin collectibles is adding complexity to their retail business. They are literally, for 5 years, have been simplifying their retail business. So again, that was all. That was all for why the core business is struggling. A bunch of literally almost nothing true in here other than the software decline said like 4 times. The Bitcoin pivot is a missing playbook. Okay, Nick, you want to redeem yourself? So they bought some Bitcoin. Yep, this is true. That's how much it was worth at the end of Q2. The problem, okay, tell me the problem, Nick. The problem is that we have not seen a steady or predictable accumulation pattern despite the significantly larger capital raises. Is that the problem, Nick? Is it a problem? Consider the fundraising stack itself. Look, so here's all the money GameStop has raised. And then here's what Nick says is the problem. But they only have 500 million in Bitcoin. So Nick's making it sound like all this money is supposed to be in Bitcoin, but GameStop's only put this much in Bitcoin. So what are they doing? Are they just lining their pockets? I mean, this has got to be like total mismanagement, right? Look, he even says it, meaning the bulk of these freshly raised billions has not been deployed into Bitcoin. Yeah, because it was never the intention. Why don't you read a single 10K? Like, they have never said that all this money is going to go into Bitcoin. Every single one of these, they say, we're going to do whatever we want with this. One of these, this 1.3 billion, they said, including the purchase of Bitcoin and other things. So if you were to say they only have 500 million and they indicated they might put as much as 1.3 billion in, and by the way, that money was raised 5 months ago and they've already deployed half of it, that would actually be really reasonable to think that they're going to dollar cost average, spread out their purchases, protect their downside a little bit, right? But for him to act like everyone just wants them to use all their cash and put it all in Bitcoin is crazy. Management has provided no clear targets, timelines, or guardrails. Yeah, that's true. They are not telling you when they're going to raise money, how much money they're going to raise, or how much of it they're going to buy in Bitcoin. All we have, Nick, is that every quarter they're raising billions of dollars. Right? How can I ever invest in this company when they have $8 billion more dollars than they had last year? I just can't trust it. I just can't trust it. You know, what am I to do as an investor? Jeez. If you say that you don't want to put a multiple on their asset management business because you don't know how they're going to use this money, that's fine. Okay. But to say that this company's not even worth the cash that they have and they're clearly able to continue to raise that cash level, that's a little too much for me. Oh, by the way, here's another $2 billion that's coming. It's another clever financing valve, but it reinforces the same raise now, decide later approach. This is actually super true. Super true. Like, GameStop is raising money and deciding later. They have not provided anything clear with what they're going to do with the money. So to give GameStop a super high multiple on its cash, I think would be maybe a little too bullish. I think Nick is onto something with that. But again, to say that the cash isn't worth cash would be crazy bearish. That would be like a lie. And then to say that GameStop is not going to be able to raise anymore now is also pretty crazy. And to say that GameStop's decision to raise now is going to hurt them is also pretty crazy when it's at 0% interest, right? The convertibles. And then the warrants don't even cost them anything. If management truly aimed for a strategy blueprint, which they don't, Ryan Cohen has said publicly that's not our strategy. Okay. We're following GameStop strategy. We're not trying to do what strategy does. So, again, another entire chunk of this article that's based on fabrication and stretches. The issue is that valuing GameStop based on earnings feels like chasing smoke. Retail, okay, whatever, dude. He just keeps saying these things that aren't true. Retail is wobbling, chasing smoke, like there's no earnings to be had. The crypto angle isn't a well-placed treasury strategy. So basically he's saying GameStop has no value. That's literally what he's saying. He's saying book value is a cleaner anchor. Like there's no way to put any multiple whatsoever on their business from a operating revenue, operating income. We can't do it. There's no way to imagine it. It's so wobbly. The reason is because it's wobbly. Other businesses have risks and threats too, right? Yeah, but GameStop, retail is wobbly and there's no way to value that. Also, Bitcoin, it might be worth something, right? But I'm not going to value their asset management business. And because retail is wobbly, I'm not going to value that either. A wobbly business that's going to make 200 plus million in operating income this year alone has zero value because it's wobbly. That's cool. That's cool, Nick. I'd love to see your portfolio and see how wobbly it is. Book value is at 1156 at the end of last quarter. Is that even true? Their book value is their stockholders' equity, which if you chose not to dilute, then that 561, I guess would be similar to that. Like if you came over to their valuation, if their market cap was that 5.6, then I still think that's too low. I don't think that's even accurate because at 27.22, their market cap is at 12. So if you took their book value of 5, I guess that 11 might be pretty close. I think it would. Oh, it's appreciated since he's written this article. Okay, so this number was accurate at the time, except that he's assuming that the convertibles will not dilute. And again, we know that just from their generating cash, that these convertible debts will be written off, will be diluted. And so their book value is really more like 9.4 and growing again, right? Still growing. But regardless, like for him to call this just plain and simple 11.56, I think is a little bit disingenuous because again, it's really it's close to double that, right? He's basing it off of 5 billion. It's really more like 9.5 billion. And again, this book value, like how does that compare to the industry standard? So he says based on this undiluted debt that GameStop is being given a book value of 2.3. How does that compare to specialty retailers? Oh, lower than every single one. So like, again, Nick, what is the argument? Like you just say that that's rich. You can see why that's rich. I cannot see why that's rich. I cannot see why that's rich, Nick. And it's really not 2.3, right? It's really more like 1.4. And would I be able to see why that's rich? No. I cannot see why that is rich. Oh, again, margins are not compressing, but yes, they do have a shrinking category. But no, I cannot see why a book value that is a tenth of the rest of the industry, right? Like, I cannot see why that is a rich valuation. And that's just where it's at right now. Like, that's not like a tenth isn't based on the 11.56, right? Whatever. Even if you want to use this as a Bitcoin proxy, okay, none of us want to use it as a Bitcoin proxy. And again, look at all this language. Without a consistent, transparent accumulation tempo, have you ever heard a CEO say that? Like, what are you talking about? Therefore, unless we have a methodical Bitcoin stacking policy, look up MicroStrategy's 10Ks and see if they ever call their Bitcoin buys an accumulation tempo or a stacking policy. Or so either they need to buy a bunch of Bitcoin or they need to sell more software. Otherwise, there's little justification for paying a multiple that assumes sturdier earnings. Okay, this multiple, this price to book does not assume better earnings. This multiple assumes that the earnings growth is going to be far worse than anyone else in the specialty retail industry. Okay? So if they were more aggressive with Bitcoin, or if they sold more software, or if their hardware grows, or if their collectibles grow, then if any of those are even possible, they should already be worth more. But if they're plausible, then they should, if that growth is plausible, it should be a premium to the industry. Because what's the growth narrative for Ross? What's the growth narrative for Ulta? What's the growth narrative for Best Buy? Like, again, this is why I don't think you should be surprised if short sellers, assuming no bull mania takes over social media. Okay, this isn't even a complete sentence, but that's fine. If short sellers send shares lower, unless bull mania unjustifiably sends shares higher. So he thinks the only upside is mania, and short sellers are going to take it lower. And then here's some random tip rank stuff. Could another burst of meme energy? Here's the meme again. When you use the same keyword multiple times in an article, it just tells me that someone told you that this is a keyword. Could meme energy lift the stock? Of course. Here's mania again. Mania, meme, associated with GameStop, using all these flowery words and refusing to talk about the actual numbers of the business. It's tough. Filings outweigh vibes. Yeah, that's the good news for us as bulls. That all the negative vibes out there, like this article, will be outweighed by GameStop's filings. Q2 revenue showed some spark, and margins are 30% higher than they were during the last console cycle. That's what you should have said. Then you could say software is still shrinking. And then you can say the Bitcoin strategy is tough to value apart from the valuation of the Bitcoin itself. You could say that. To make matters worse, shares continue to trade well above book value. Oh, maybe like every other business in the entire stock market. To make matters worse, people value this business. Oh, this situation's getting tough to stomach, Nick. I thought they were going to be trading below their literal net cash. Then maybe there would be a little bit of upside. You think? I had hoped for a true cash to crypto treasury transformation. Well, I don't know why you hoped for that, because they never said they were going to do that, and they made it clear they weren't going to do that. They are not trying to be an ETF for Bitcoin. Literally, Ryan Cohen bought Bitcoin as an inflation hedge on a huge cash position. Instead, what has emerged is episodic financing, sporadic coin buys, and a core business that is still exploding at its edges. That was probably a typo, Nick. That was probably a typo. For that reason, I see recent strength as an opportunity to sell. Okay. So again, lots of lies in there, heavy bearish. But who's this Nick guy, right? Like, he works as an independent financial analyst. Okay. He does stock investment research for different platforms. Okay. Including niche research. So he's doing niche research as a financial analyst, right? Analyzing company filings, right? That's this guy. And then look at his recent articles. GameStop, Coinbase, Shopify, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, Boeing, Lyft, Uber, T-Mobile, Verizon, Snowflake, Johnson & Johnson, Oracle, Meta, 3M, another NVIDIA, Shopify, CRM. Like every day he has a new article, and almost every day they're on a different company. JD, McDonald's, like Netflix, AMD. Like it just keeps going. So again, is this niche research? Roku, Nike, ConocoPhillips, Bank of America, Robinhood. Is this niche research? Reddit? Shopify's come up here a couple times. Maybe he has some e-commerce specialty. Meta's come up here a couple times. But it seems to me like you are an author for financial articles. It doesn't seem like you are a financial analyst providing niche research after analyzing filings. I don't know how you would analyze that many filings that thoroughly to give niche research on a different company every single day, right? Like it's just hard to imagine. And then you go to his LinkedIn, right? Here's his LinkedIn. Okay, some honest research and capital. He's the executive director, right? Like, okay, he's following my work in equities research. That must be pretty cool. And then he's got this website, Off-Grid Compounders. I went to the website. I'm like, okay, who is this guy? Okay, the website has not been updated since over a year ago. And he did this portfolio update in August of 2024. And, he had an $80,000 portfolio, huge position in Meta. And then it's just like, he likes Crocs. He likes Ulta, likes Google. But then he's just got indices like XLK, QQQ, or some Amazon, Palantir. I have nothing against his portfolio, but I don't know. None of these are reasons to suggest to me that you have like a unique level of analyst insight. But then I went to his company and I'm like, okay, research and capital. Like maybe, right, if you go down, like it seems like he manages money when you think about this self-employed executive director, research and capital. Then you click on his company and it's like, oh, this company shares opinions and research on companies. I'm like, oh, so you are an author then, right? But you make it seem like you're a fund manager, like a true financial advisor or financial analyst. I know, right? Right, Narwhal? He says he likes Ulta. But then you look at his work and it's like, okay, he went to college. He worked part-time for a friend that was trying to start a digital ad agency. And then he started this company that was basically just the holding company to get paid for financial articles. Like tip ranks, seeking alpha, short dividend, contractor. So like literally this guy for over 5 years has been writing articles. Y'all can see his language, very good at words for sure. I don't know how much of a financial expert he is, but he's been writing on finances for years. But what is this company, right? Well, I looked it up and you can see the filings of his company in the UK. And I just like started looking a little bit back. I'm like, okay, here's March 2024 cessation. So here you go. Here's Nick, the director, who had a company with $5,000 total in its name. And that was his like annual, report to the UK. And then a couple months later, application to strike the company off the register. So here it is. This company has applied to be struck off and dissolved. And then a couple months later, here you go. Sysmonis Research gives notice that it will be struck off and all of its assets will belong to the crown. And then here you go. Strike off date. Dissolved October 2024. So I'm just saying, okay, this guy has a title for and a background that to me seems like TipRanks uses it to promote his level of expertise. And yet this website he mentions has not been updated for over a year. This company that he owns literally closed over a year ago, and he doesn't manage capital. He doesn't really do research. He really just writes articles. He's paid to write articles. And so this is what I want to know, Nick. This is what I want to know. Did you research GameStop independently and come to these conclusions? If so, I would love to hear that, Nick. Come and speak for yourself, please. Send me an email. Find yourself in the comments. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to attack you at all. I'm trying to understand how this crazy world works. Okay, because if you independently research this, you came to these conclusions, and then you're sharing it for us to glean from. I hope that me coming on and breaking down your article line by line and showing you the numbers that I'm assuming you did research, but maybe you didn't really see it, as far back. Maybe you were only looking quarter over quarter. Maybe you missed a couple trends. I don't know. Maybe you didn't read the business strategy part. You just went straight to the financials little part. I don't know. But hopefully my breaking down of this article would lead you to come to a different conclusion. And then maybe you'll come out in a week and make a new GameStop article that's actually very bullish. And you'll say, hey, 2 weeks ago, I made this article. It turns out I was totally wrong. I misunderstood the numbers. Or, Nick, were you literally is it just like, hey, someone write a hit piece on GameStop. All right, I'll do it. Here's what I get paid. Because if that is the reality of what happens, that's what it seems to me that's what happens. I think that's disingenuous for you to present yourself as a researcher, for you to present yourself as an independent owner of a capital firm, when literally you're just paid commissions to write whatever you're being told to write. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. Sorry, Nick, if you took any of this personally. I'm not trying to dox you at all. I'm trying to talk to the GameStop investors and GameStop prospective investors that are interested in the truth about a company. And at least for some of my clients, they can see an article like this, right? It's been the top suggested article since it was written on Robinhood. Like, hey, we've got a great article for you. Super thorough, really well done, right? I know people who can read something like this and feel concerned, feel that FUD, that fear, uncertainty, and doubt about their investment. And through your flowery language and their lack of maybe expertise in finances, they think you're the expert. They think you're delivering the truth, but it turns out you're just sending smoke screens to cause uncomfortable emotions based on lies. So what do you think, Nick? What do you think, chat? I wanted to dive into that with you guys today. And thank you guys, 61 of y'all, for being here. Thanks for the 23 likes. What's up, Gnarl? What's up, Jay Day? Hey, thank you so much, saying you appreciate me. Yeah, Afro, maybe maybe you're sad that GameStop backed out of UK, Nick. Maybe that's what it is. The largest specialty business in a booming category. The business model is too complex, but simplifying is also apparently bad. Yeah. Yeah. And if GameStop bought more Bitcoin, the article would just say they bought too much Bitcoin, right? Narwhal says you can argue that Ryan Cohen might be too conservative with his investment policy, the way he has or hasn't allocated cash. That's totally true. If you don't want to put a high multiple on their cash, you think it's only worth 1.5 cash and you don't want to put a 2 or 3x cash, then that's, your prerogative. I think that'd still be a little too conservative based on Cohen's history as an owner and operator and investor. But if you want to say, hey, I'll see it, I'll believe it when I see it. I think the past is the past, and I don't think Cohen's going to be able to make orders of magnitude more on his cash unless he shows me how. That's totally fair, especially if you're risk averse. Justin bought a quick 10. He bought a quick 10. Way to go. One more warrant. Oh, but he bought it 28. How will I ever get my money back? Yeah, but he likes Ulta. Or at least he did a year ago. It was a large weight in his portfolio. Kip, thanks, Kip, for the love. Kip says, this guy knows how to do a deep dive. That's me here. I'm here for the raw facts. I'm here for the truth. I'm trying to put the truth out there. I'm not trying to be a perma bull. I'm not trying to be a con artist, a hype artist. I'm trying to look at the fundamentals of the business and get the public conversation centered around the truth rather than these low effort hit pieces. And Kip says, let's write our own article. That's basically what I'm trying to do on YouTube. I'm trying to write my own article, trying to put my own perspective out there that is hopefully more grounded, hopefully more centered on reality than a bunch of flowery language that dodges reality. Ryan says, of course we know that they get paid to write hit pieces. Yeah, it seems to me that that's his job. But sometimes you could have an independent contributor to one of these types of websites that you look them up and it's like, okay, they're probably still paid to write this, but they do also have something going on themselves. Like if Tip Ranks asked me, do you want to write a bullish article on GameStop? Like, I could be whatever. I would just say what I actually think, but I am genuinely bullish right now. So if they were like, hey, we'll pay you $500 to write a bullish article, I'd probably be like, cool. Like, let me know when you want to send me the money and I'll send you the article, But if someone read that and then they put a little blurb up there for me and people looked me up, people would be able to see like, oh, this Jeremy guy, like his company still exists, right? Oh, he has an investment firm, right? Like, oh, he's posted, right? This Ryan guy, his last post was many months ago. Not that activity really matters that much, but it's like, okay, he's got a budget software. He did resale. He used to be a pastor, like, but as far as what does he presently do, it's like, oh, the main thing he does is capital management. And then he just happened to write this article. He happened to do some freelance work to be a contributor, but it's not his main thing. And to me, I feel like with Nick, it's like that's all he does is write articles. And I don't have any problem with that. I think authors are awesome, writers are awesome, but just call yourself a writer, just say, I get paid to write articles, You don't have to lie to me. You don't have to lie to the whole world, Nick. Do you feel good about this, Nick? Do you like what you write? Do you believe what you write? That's the kind of stuff I wonder about. Like, do people's names mean anything to them? You know what I mean? Whew. That's all I want to say about that article. Ryan, what's up? He says, by the way, thanks, man, for being a member of the channel. Appreciate it so much. By the way, guys, quick channel update, and then I'll actually read your comment, Ryan. Let's check it out. Let's check out the channel update. We've got Over 8,000 hours of watch time. Way to go, you guys. Way to go. Over 1630 on the subs. Marching on. And check this out. We crossed over $300 of revenue. I don't know when I get paid for that. They said it could be the 24th. I'm like, surely it's going to be sooner than the 24th, right? But someday I will actually get this money, and then I'll be able to begin officially the Budget for Life Infinity Pool, because 100% of the earnings of this channel go to DRS booked GME shares. But so far, I have made $0. Like this, YouTube's holding all my money still. And yeah, thank you so much to the fans and friends. I appreciate y'all so much. 11 members of the channel. Y'all going the extra mile, making sure that this channel can still exist, that this independent research can get out there. I appreciate it really, really a lot. And really excited to see if we can beat this 300 number in October. Super pumped about it. If this fade, I'm not like in it, quote unquote, for the money, you know, but again, if this dips down to 2 and then 100 and then 50 and then 20 and then $5, like at a certain point, again, it's just the internet telling me that, hey, there's really not a demand for this content, and I will be totally fine with that. I will live if there's not demand for this, but as long as there is demand for this, I'm really happy to try to meet that demand the best that I can. So all that said, thank you so much to all you guys that contribute in any way. Ryan says, what's your theory on, Ryan says, love your work on the fundamentals. Thanks, dude. I'm most curious on the macro environment and how that impacts market liquidity and short positions. I'll keep tuning in regardless. Okay. And Michael B says, there's plenty of demand. We appreciate you. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, I'm excited. I talk more about the macro with my clients, but maybe I'll share some of those videos with you guys, or maybe like put a link in a live stream sometime or something like that. But I'm bearish on the macro. But I don't think I have any like unique level perspectives on that. I mean, maybe my perspective might be unique, but it's certainly, as far as when you think about managing your position in GameStop, how do you want to think about that? There's right now I'm kind of focusing on this side of the column. Like, what can GameStop control within their best case and worst case scenarios? And I'm not talking a lot about the macro side in my recent videos, but I will. I definitely will. So Ryan, there will be videos coming to that, but I think generally speaking, if the market is great, that's not necessarily hurtful for GameStop. It's not necessarily helpful for GameStop. All it means is there's a higher opportunity cost to holding 100% GME. Like, and I'm very bullish on GME. I hold more than 100% GME. But over the past 5 years, the joke has been on me, right? Like, all of us would have made more if you YOLO'd into Palantir at $18 a share. If you YOLO'd into NVIDIA, like, we would have made more that way. And it's because the macro held up. A lot of us had the opinion, even back in 2020, 2021, that a crash, a market doo-doo was imminent. Like, it seemed like any day now, right? So many cracks at the seams. A lot of those cracks have gotten wider, right? So it's not like anyone was wrong about that necessarily, but the risk of putting all your chips into a crash is coming basket is obviously that you miss out on the gains of high beta companies, right? High growing, high risk, high upside, exponential growth opportunities that could end up worthless if the macro situation takes a dump. You know, the great thing about GameStop is the fundamental upside is not dependent on a dump, right? The fundamental upside of a 5x, 10x fundamentally within the next year or two, like it's there in whether times are good or bad, you know. But the the maximum, like the best case scenario, it's really like down here. Like what if we do have a crazy crash? All of a sudden you tap into GameStop's negative beta and the short sellers. And does a macro crash trigger shorts having to cover, right? Does it lower collateral enough for short sellers that they're forced to close a portion of their GameStop position? And if some shorts are forced to close, does that create a spiral effect that makes other shorts have to close and truly send GameStop to the moon of many, many thousands of dollars a share potentially, right? A point where maybe they're the most valuable company in the world, maybe by a wide margin, right? Who knows what the top of the squeeze could be? And I might make a video on that too one day. But I think the macro, the potential of a macro downside is certainly interesting when you think about liquidity in shorts. Certainly, I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to talk about that as much as the fundamentals because I spent a lot of time focusing on that in 21 and 22, and ultimately, in hindsight, I wish I had focused more on the fundamentals. I wish I had focused more on what does GameStop control within their own outcomes. And it's also possible that GameStop performs so well that the same type of spiral effect happens, right? So the liquidity drying up or shorts having to cover, that could happen if collateral collapses. It could also happen if their short position spikes, and the short position could easily 5x in a year just fundamentally, no short squeeze at all. And even if you're dealing with the same base, like even if your collateral is just as big, if your short squeeze just went up by 5x because of what GameStop could control, again, you could still end up in that MOAS, in that squeeze situation, even without the crash. And that's what I'm super pumped about, because that wasn't true in 2021, 2022. You could see the roadmap back then. You could see how GameStop could be worth much more down the road, but there was no fundamental reason to think that they have to be, like there was still work to be done before that was already actualized. And now they really are in the present moment undervalued. It's like if you were buying Tesla right now, it would be hard to argue that they are undervalued in the present moment based on what they currently make, right? But if you were to project the growth of what they could accomplish, well, what if the Optimus robot blows up? What if they solve full self-driving? Well, then in hindsight, you would say, man, that was a really good opportunity to get in at that price, to go along for the ride of the appreciation. That's where GameStop was in 21 and 22 and 23 even, where it's like, it's not really undervalued intrinsically based on today, but if you believe in where it's going, then this is a great price to buy. And now we're at a place where it is genuinely present day undervalued, not even to speak of where it's going. So super exciting times. Ryan, he said, I also love the theories on things like why BBBY issued a warrant at the same time. Yeah, it's a lot of speculation there. I'm not the BBBY master by any means. You all say, what's your theory on why RC and DFE haven't DRS yet? I'm an advocate for DRS book and that it's the way. Maybe RC and DFE can hurt the shorts more with options plays, keeping their shares in a broker. It's a great question. Like, what do you guys think? Because to me, I think both RC, especially RC, but also DFE, have both signaled that computer share is helpful for the cause, helpful for the company, helpful for GameStop. I think RC signaled that when he posted the computer chair from many years ago that then GameStop recently reposted. I think RC signaled that when he hosted the annual shareholder meeting in 2024, or was it 23? The shareholder meeting was hosted on ComputerShare. I think he signaled that when he put the DRS numbers in the 10K. Yeah, it's me, Beck. I don't know how you say that. It's me, BK. What's up, BK? What's up, Burger King? The ComputerShare chair tweet, that picture, yeah, that's tinfoil. But company did host their shareholder meeting on ComputerShare's website, and they do report the DRS numbers in their 10Ks. Like, those two things are not tinfoil, and it's not random. Like, it's not like, what's a good website for live streams? Oh, Zoom. No, let's do Google Meet. No, let's do Microsoft Teams. No, actually, you know what? ComputerShare. That's a great live streaming site. Turns out it's not, and that's why it crashed, right? Like, it literally fumbled. BK agrees. So again, does that mean you have to hold in DRS book? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, have you seen some signals from Ryan Cohen that GameStop generally is like supportive in some way, that GameStop likes or wants to encourage people to hold in ComputerShare? I don't think that's like crazy speculative. Also, when they did the split as a dividend, ComputerShare was the only one to do that correctly. And in that OCC document we read earlier in this live stream, it said that ComputerShare is the agent for that to be distributed, which maybe, again, does that mean you should hold DRS? No, I don't think so. With Roaring Kitty, I think he's one of those memes he posted back in 24. He had the three, I don't know, the three circles, that was kind of zooming out. And then, he put GameStop's logo in them. And then the third one went super big. So that wasn't really a ComputerShare reference. But he did have that one where the guy was like, "Give me my shares," which seems like a ComputerShare reference. It could just be a reference to naked shorts in general, but how would you even know that it's naked shorted? It could have just been he was transferring from one brokerage to another, So whether Roaring Kitty's super big on DRS, I'm not sure. But regardless, GFE had a video where he held up a cone and a poo in a chair. Okay. So yeah, cone, poo, chair, right? So that said, as much as I think that it's probably somehow adds pressure to shorts to remove shares from Seed & Co., and as much as it seems like GameStop / Roaring Kitty / Ryan Cohen have generally put their kind of 2 cents of tinfoil into the hat related to encouraging DRS shares, it does, the other side of the coin is well, then why don't they? Literally, why don't they? And Roaring Kitty, if you were to ask me, why doesn't he? I would tell you that my best guess is because he likes to trade options. He's just a YOLO artist, Narwhal says him saying "give me my shares" was him exercising call options. That would make sense. But DFV, it seems like he holds, right? I'm not saying he's out of GME, but when he finds the right strike and the right price, the right IV at the right time, with whatever metrics he's looking at, with whatever inside scoop he does or doesn't have, with it seems like when he knows, or he thinks that he knows it's about to go off, that he wants to YOLO in. Maybe not sell all his shares and buy all out of the money calls, but maybe put some new money into out of the money calls. Like it seems like it, but also we don't know if he's still in a brokerage. We don't know that for sure. We know that he was, you know, and it could have been that he was because he thought back then the squeeze was still far out. And so he had time to make those trades, and he could be putting them into ComputerShare now if he feels like he wants to have that insurance to make sure he's going to get to capitalize on the MOAS, With RC, it's like, why doesn't RC put them in? Again, to me, I think it's a really fair question. Like if Ryan says like they 100% did signal to DRS. That said, I don't know why they haven't. Like that, RC is not playing calls. So it's not about that, right? It's me, BK says it's because it's BS. That's why they don't. I mean, ComputerShare itself is not BS. Like, it's not like the company is fake. Like, it's not like someone's telling you, it's not like all this pressure to like DRS your shares. I'm not saying like, to me, BS would be like if everyone was telling you like, oh, you need to hold your shares in stock.com. Stock.com's like some random tiny brokerage, like you got to hold it in eToro. That's the only place that's good. Like that would be like, this is obviously like some type of trap for idiots, but to say like DRS your share, I think pressuring people to do anything. Yeah. BK says like, it's because it's not necessary. I would say necessary versus helpful is a good conversation. Maybe because Ryan Cohen owns such a huge portion of GameStop shares, and he literally is the CEO. Like, if I was his brokerage, like his brokerage knows his name. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about if you're a company and like, who should I screw over? Right? Like, whose account should I force sell out of their GME position during the squeeze? It's like Ryan Cohen's untouchable. Like, you can't force sell Ryan Cohen's shares. Like, legally, technically, could they? I don't think they even could, because he's an insider, right? He has specific filing windows. Like, I don't think even if they wanted to, they would be able to force close on Ryan Cohen. But it doesn't mean that they wouldn't on any of us, And maybe even similar for DFV. Like, he's such a huge account. It's like you have so much money and you have such a high following that it is worth it to us as a company to make sure we have your business. It doesn't mean that the company will look out for people with 50K or 100K or even 1 million, Like, we're all the tiny, tiny fish. So if I was Ryan Cohen holding my shares in a brokerage, would I be nervous about getting forced closed on? Probably not. But still, if he wants to encourage anyone else to DRS, it's still kind of curious, like, well, why wouldn't you also DRS? And yet Ryan's saying like, what if there's a regulation where he can't? It could be that he's like, I just want to like literally make some interest off of loaning these shares out, like it's hard to envision why he hasn't done that. Maybe the SEC's told him, even though you can do this legally, don't, because this will force MOAS and we don't want to let that happen. Or maybe Ryan Cohen is like, I don't want to force MOAS. Like, maybe the SEC is not telling him not to. Maybe it's just him internally. Like, if I do this, it could force MOAS, and I don't want to force MOAS. If someone else forces MOAS, like if the general public slowly begins adding pressure, great. But if I, in one moment, move 9 million shares over and trigger the squeeze, that could open him up to a huge amount of legal liability, right? Where he's like, I don't want to put myself at risk financially. And yeah, so it could be that it could be that he wants Moaz to happen, but the SEC won't let him. From would him DRSing his position, could that really escalate Moaz timeline? Could that trigger it? I don't know. And if it did trigger it, could it be that the SEC doesn't want him to do it? Could it be that he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want the legal risk? Or could it be that he doesn't want to do it, to your point, BK, that he doesn't want Moaz? Like maybe he genuinely would rather it be as slow as possible. Ryan says he thinks that's trolling. Of course he wants GME to go to the moon. I think he wants GME to go to the moon. I don't know, Ryan, if he wants it to happen in a week or over 5 years. like I think he's done with the suppression. Like this January of 21 to April of 24, I think the company is beyond this, and I think Ryan Cohen is beyond this. But the 24 to infinity, I don't know if GameStop wants it to look linear, or if they want it to look like a 2x exponential curve, or if they want it to look like a 5x exponential curve. And how do those different scenarios impact the company? I think it's a fair conversation. Regardless, personally, I think there's enough plausible reasons why, for Roaring Kitty specifically and for Ryan Cohen specifically, that they would choose not to DRS, even though they feel like the choice to DRS would be helpful for the company. But it doesn't mean it's the right decision for everyone. It doesn't mean it's DRS or die. I totally agree with like, hey, let's not get too crazy on the extreme ultimatums. But I don't think personally that discredits to me, what seems like pretty clear communication from the company, from Ryan Cohen and Roaring Kitty too, if you want to throw him in, that of just like encouraging the choice to DRS some shares, not necessarily all your shares, right? But I don't feel like it's them being disingenuous. It's like genuinely they're not in the same boat. And even with Roaring Kitty, his position might be so big that, again, could it open him to legal risk? Could that big of a DRS impact shorts strongly enough to cause volatility strongly enough to where he could come under fire? I don't think he wants to come under fire again. I think he will post again one day, but like, I don't think he wants to go through what he went through in 2021 again. I don't know him personally, obviously. Maybe one day I will, but like the joy that Roaring Kitty had during his live streams in 2020 and compared to even the Roaring Kitty that we saw come on his most recent live stream a year or two ago, whenever that was, it's like he's definitely taken a toll as far as anxiety and some weight gain and some just a lot of defamation going on, a lot of lies being told about him. Like, I don't think he wants to like be that forever, but I still think he likes the stock, right? I think he's going to post a YOLO post again one day. I think he's going to post a meme again one day. I think long term, like he'll probably be employed in some way by GameStop, even if it's just a contract influencer marketer role, like, but to be like, I don't think he necessarily wants to go through exactly the same thing he went through. I think even Roaring Kitty might rather the next squeeze be connected to GameStop's performance. I think he wants to be a big player in the story, but I don't know if he wants to be the reason why it's trading at $5,000 a share and then every company in the world goes bankrupt. Like I don't, if that happens, I think he'd be pumped, but I don't think he wants to be painted as the reason why that happened. Because again, there's just a lot of people's lives that end up affected, like, I don't think he wants to be a villain forever. I think he wants to be a good guy. He wants to be the guy that took a company from the ashes and through his influence, not only him, but helped a company get to a point of legitimacy and real value, to a place where it could be a $250 billion company, and for a day, maybe a 5 billion or 5 trillion or 10 trillion or whatever price target you want to put on how high could the squeeze go. All that to say, why wouldn't they DRS? It's a good question. It's a good question. And Ryan says, of course it's stressful. He said leading Chewy almost killed him. Yeah, so Ryan Cohen too. Rowan Kitty and Ryan Cohen have both gone through crazy amounts of stress. Ryan Cohen hires a security guard at GameStop, right? Like it's a different type of life. It's a different type of world. I just think we have to listen to their communication for the masses and give some grace for not all of what you're communicating for what a normal regular person should do necessarily one-to-one applies to you, because they're not regular normal people anymore. They're in the ultra elite of society, and it's just some different things that go on behind those closed doors, BK says we'll get to meet Rowan Kitty in Valhalla. Let it be. Yeah, Ryan Cohen's in great shape. I meant Rowan Kitty, but Rowan Kitty might be in great shape now too. And I'm not even, it feels a little rude to even talk about someone's weight. I don't say that as like a anyway type of negative thing. I just personally, in my own journey, losing tons of money in 2021 and then starting businesses in 2022 and going through that and a lot of grief associated with that financial hardship, I gained like 40 pounds. And so and was going through a ton of anxiety and visits to the ER, stuff breaking down in my body. Like, so I'm not saying anything from an accusatory, I'm not trying to be belittling at all. I'm saying from a place of empathy, I don't want to go through that again, and my stress, very different than the type of stress DFV went through, but I bet he doesn't want to go through his stress again either. I bet. San Diego Dad says, if I buy right now, will I get warrants? Only one way to find out, dude. Not if you only buy one share. But if you buy 10 shares right now, I think it just is going to depend on the brokerage. Ryan says maybe, but it might be too late. Bubble says, I think the cutoff was at closing bell. I would guess, that the cutoff has already happened. I don't think they're going to try to hand out any more warrants than they need to, but you could try. Bubble said he gained some weight from stress, and now he's working more and on a healthier diet. Way to go, Bubbles. Way to go, dude. Yeah, I've lost some of my weight for sure. I put on 40 pounds over the period of about 4 years. And I stopped weighing myself because it got kind of stressful. But I've probably lost maybe 20. Most of it's off of my face. I got most of the face off, but the gut's not what it used to be, which part of that's just dad bod, It is what it is. Girth says, what are your thoughts on the end of day dip seemingly so someone could pick up calls for cheap. Contracts dropped 20%, then raised 20% last hour of the day. Yeah, where did IV finish up for the day? I wonder. Okay, yeah, they finished at 18. So yeah, we saw that here on the stream. We saw it. I was saying, hey, it was at 55 most of the day. And when we checked it around 2:15, it was at 50. And now it's back closer up to 55. Even though the price was lower. So I guess they dropped it sharp enough that it raised IV, even though the price was declining. But yeah, to be able to scoop up a call at that price, I don't know, maybe it's competitive. But why buy a call when you're about to get warrants, you know? You're about to be given some calls. Unless you just need more. I'm about to have one call for every 10 shares I got. That's awesome. I'm going to have over 1,600 warrants. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait, y'all. I'm so pumped. When does it come through? The 7th? Is it the 7th? October 3rd, the record date. On or around Tuesday the 7th. D-Day, baby. Distribution Day. October 7th. Woo! Let's go. Let's go. Michael's getting over 2,000 warrants. Let's go, Michael. You might be the biggest whale in this whole thing, dude. Let me know if DFV's a cool person once you get to meet him, bro. He seems cool. So exciting. Well, hey, not too much exciting on the stock today, but I wanted to hop on this stream just in case and just remind everyone, like, hey, 30 minutes left. Now we're probably out of time. BK can't wait to see the warrants in his account. Michael said it's taken a long time to accumulate. I believe it. No need to disclose your age, Michael, but or your your income per year from your work, whatever. Regardless, no matter what way you got there, I'm impressed. Over 2,000 shares, or over 20,000 shares, over 2,000 warrants coming your way. So awesome. BK wants to look at BBBY and AMC charts. Look, look, fine. I'll just show the charts, but I'm not, again, I talked about how on bad days of GameStop, I like to zoom out. On good days of penny stocks, I also like to zoom out. You know, and this chart does not look like the other chart, right? It's tough. I'm not saying the company's screwed. I don't really closely follow this company, you know, but to get super hype on this movement, it's like 15% over the past month. Let's go. And it's like, oh wait. Like, y'all remember the guy that used to post the trading sideways? Does he still do that on Reddit? It's like another day of sideways trading. And he would show like the price of GameStop compared to if it was $1 million a share or whatever. It's like, that's what this is with AMC. It's like for a penny stock to go up or down 10% or 20% means nothing. Like that's literally that's why they exist, is for people to make money on the volatility. So does it mean that like fundamentally they are transitioning, that like fundamentally they're becoming a valuable company? This does not mean that at all, but I don't know their company well to know if that's the case. Same with the new BBBY, the old overstock, 17% in one day, 30% in a week. a little bit more exciting, this price movement related to them buying the assets from Bed Bath & Beyond, moving their ticker over. But again, you zoom out and it's like, ooh, tough. BK says, yeah, he knows they're crap companies, but interesting charts, the inverse hours. I do think the whole meme, like the meme basket has a lot of credence. Like you'll see it with other companies that like certain companies will run, whether it's AMC or COS or maybe now BBBY is back in that grouping, that somehow like volatility can pop off on other kind of like quote unquote distraction names or basket names, and that somehow that's able to kind of counterbalance movement within GameStop. Certainly possible. I know this, like they just issued their warrant, so maybe some of this is bullish movement related to that warrant. But again, max time, it's like long way to go. Long way to go for sure. But the squeeze happened here too, There's the June squeeze, January squeeze, October squeeze. So yeah, if you want to just look for squeeze plays, I'm not touching this. I've said before, I put back somewhere in 2022, like right before the old Bed Bath went under, I was just rereading Cohen's letter to the old Bed Bath board. And I was like, I know he sold his shares, but am I 100% positive he's not interested in this company anymore? I'm like, I'm not positive that he's not interested. And I put 10% of my portfolio in BBBYQ, which is in bankruptcy court, so was that a good decision? Probably not. It's just tough chasing a squeeze. That's always been a part of the GameStop story since 2021 happened. But the difference in the GameStop story is there was also the quote unquote worst case scenario, right? When I bought on January 29th of 2021, I'm thinking this squeeze is just getting started, which it was, we know, but it got halted, whatever. And the opportunity for the squeeze was there, but I said, hey, worst case, it's really easy to envision how this company could justify this valuation fundamentally over time. So I'm like, hey, even if I end up holding bags, if I hold them long enough, they're going to pick me back up, right? Like there will be gains to be made if this company accomplishes what it's trying to accomplish from a fundamental level. And so I'm really not the squeeze play guy. I'm not the meme guy. I never touched Dogecoin. I'm not like the hype penny stock guy. I'm the fundamental guy that wants to make sound decisions based on fundamental performance. In the case of GameStop, I got baited into this squeeze play because it was like, hey, squeeze play with some downside protection. Squeeze play with a worst case, I just got to wait it out, right? And I've done far more than wait it out. I've continued to buy every opportunity I can because the fundamental story at this point has taken over. It's usurped the squeeze story. And that's super exciting for me, especially as a financial advisor, because now it's like I can really recommend this at a high weight for my clients with a sound mind, not just like, oh my gosh, my clients are going to make a killing and then I'll get to make a killing because I'll be managing their accounts. It's like, no, this genuinely deserves to be a huge position. Like, even if you didn't care about the squeeze, it's just an exciting opportunity. We're probably going to wrap up here in a sec. We're losing a couple people down to 45. We've been over 2 hours. It's 4:45. Today, by the way, is my daughter's due date. It's my daughter's due date. She's not born though. She's still in the womb. But October 2nd was the due date for my daughter, Lydia Rose BR. My last name, it's pronounced BR. Like the letter B and the letter R, but it's spelled BIAR. It's confusing. Y'all will figure it out. But thanks, Michael, for the early congrats. So yeah, at some point, I won't be live streaming quite as frequently because I will have a newborn. But hopefully, I'll still be able to get a video out most days. But any day now, I'm gonna be on the newborn grind again. It's our third kid, but our boys are 6 and 4, so I'm a little bit like I kind of forget how to do this. BK says she's gonna come on the dividend record date, bro. D-Day, delivery day, dude. The distribution day, October 7th is distribution day. That's when my wife's gonna distribute this baby to our family. Let's go. D-Day, Tuesday morning. Who says it won't be Tuesday morning? Ooh. Simulation confirmed. I'll tell my wife to hold it in. She says she kind of wants the daughter to be born over the weekend. So we'll see. So far, there's not really any early labor signs, though, like it's not looking too imminent. So she might make it until the 7th. That would be so clutch. Lucky number 7, D-Day. I'll see y'all in the next video, though. I'll still be pumping them out. If I don't make a video within 2 days, then we've got a baby girl. I'll probably post. I'll probably do like a baby's here. Be back soon. But man, so much exciting happening with the company too. It's hard to hold off. Thanks y'all for being here. Thanks again, everyone that's engaged with the channel. I appreciate y'all so much. It's been a lot of fun bringing the fundamental perspective, the more nerdy perspective, the analytical perspective to GameStop and the online conversation. I think it matters a lot right now to know the upside, but it's going to matter even more to be familiar with the valuation, the fundamental supported business case as we see this price go up, which I think we're beginning I think we're like really continuing an exciting season of price appreciation that will hopefully continue for years and years, honestly, but it might escalate quickly, right? It might move quickly. And if it does, it's that much more important that you have an idea of what you think the company is worth, what it can really support, what it will sustain, where it'll end up at. It can help you make good decisions for your own trading strategy and how you want to make the most of what this company is accomplishing. So all I'd say, appreciate y'all a bunch. I'm gonna hop off. I will see y'all in the next one. Let me see how to end this. Stop sharing. Boom. In the stream. Boom.